Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are here with another speed build for the My Little Pony update. And today we are starting Twilight Sparkle's treehouse. I had a kind of an idea for this one, and I kind of started building it. I wanted it to kind of look like a tree, and I was going to kind of do like bushes and stuff kind of all over it to kind of look like, tree leaves and stuff like that. So kind of similar to how I did, the roof with the plants on Fluttershy's to kind of look like, it was like built into like a hill type of a thing. And it didn't look right because it was too bulky and big. So I kind of had to scrap it. So I spent probably an hour or so building that, trying to get it to look right. This doesn't exactly, I kind of had sketched out a little bit of an idea based on, kind of the look of her house, from like pictures and everything from the show and whatnot, and it wasn't working. So I kind of had to go with something a little bit different. So this isn't exactly so much a tree, because it's really hard to build in a tree, and it doesn't really look too much like what it looks like in the show or anything, just because that idea wasn't really working very well. But yeah, so I kind of had to rethink it, and I kind of just started with this and kind of trying to do different levels. And a lot of it is in the basement, just because it's hard to make it tree structure without it being gigantic and without it being like too chopped up. Like if I wanted to say build a house and then say have the trees like this one inside of the house or like formed around it, then you end up with like no actual walls on the inside. So if you kind of remember, for anyone who actually watches the LP or saw the original Ponyville that I did, where each girl kind of had a house, Fluttershy's was actually like in the tree, because I didn't have the right idea of Fluttershy. I don't know why I kept thinking of Fluttershy's house as being like a tree, even though it's really kind of not. But anyway, so that house, it looked like it kind of had worked for a tree, but it was really small. There wasn't a lot of space. And the trees, when you actually kind of put them so they're through a wall and try to make it look like good on the outside, you don't get a lot of good space on the inside. It kind of ruins it. And the ability to like put stuff, which was fine in the other, when I had them all in one lot. Sorry, I'm adjusting my headset because my hair is like poking in my ears and I'm like all uncomfortable. It doesn't, it's fine when you have another lot where you're like, okay, I actually have like a main kitchen or whatever. All they need is really a bedroom, bathroom, and maybe some like skill objects for them specifically. That's fine. But when you're trying to make an entire lot, like a house and everything, it doesn't really work well. So this is all kind of weird shaped and strange on the outside, but it does at least give me the ability to put some kind of grassy areas up top and some patios. And I kind of just made the upper floors, aside from stairs, because that's pretty much all that really fits in some of these areas. I did made it like a library area. So, she's got her desk. You'll see that when we get to the decorating part. And then the main living area for her and Spike is downstairs in like a basement level. I really didn't want to have to keep doing basement levels, but it was pretty much the only thing that would really work without this being a really big, bulky structure that, didn't really work. And I kind of wanted it to look a little bit more like, it doesn't really look like a tree because it's really hard to do that, but it looks a little bit more tree-like than than it would otherwise. But yeah, so and so we have these little porch areas. There's really not much. You could probably go out in them because I did put doors, so you could go outside, but there's really not much that you could do like out there or anything. But it was just to make it a little more green and kind of give it, a little bit, I don't know, I guess make it look like there's like, I don't know. I just, went with the little cut of porch areas. It gives us a way to give a little bit of green coverage. It was such a pain to do this, honestly, because everything's kind of built around the secret tree. So that is the actual tree that you could get to the secret lot through. I don't know if it'll actually work because I pulled it on debug mode and I enlarged it. I really just wanted it for its look because it looks kind of like magical, because that's the magical tree. I think it's actually called Mysterious Tree or something. But because I built so close to it and I'm kind of building things around it, that if I tried to like move a wall, the whole tree would move. And then I'm like, ugh. So like I had to like, I couldn't just like drag a wall. Like I want this bigger, I'm going to drag it. Or I have to do that. Like I have to delete certain things or place certain things. And because the outside, those like the patio areas or just the areas that I'm actually going to cover with greenery to kind of give it the little kind of tree look, in order to do that and wanting to be able to keep, say, like the roof trim around it, so it's got the trim, I kind of had to do what I did with Fluttershy's, where you have to make that a room. But in order to do that, without, okay, I'm gonna drag this wall, which then drags the tree, even though they're not touching. Yeah, I had to keep placing little rooms and adjusting it and doing it. So there was a lot of work on this in order to get, you know, kind of the shape that I needed and to be able to make these rooms and adjust it without dragging, like a simple, I need to move this wall. Well, now I have to completely draw the wall. I can't just drag the wall like you would normally do because that tree is gonna move. And then it's like, it's already where I need it. I don't want to have to keep readjusting it and then worrying about, because it's also, for some reason, I don't know why, if it's just me, but like if I'm trying to use like the Alt key to kind of just rotate a little bit, it'll rotate every way but exactly the way I want it. I'm like, okay, so once I got it placed, I'm like, I'm done. I'm leaving it here. But yeah. And so here, I mean, I kind of did the same thing with the grassy kind of flowers that I did with Fluttershy's, but I kind of used those little bushes around to kind of make it look a little more, because they look a little more like they could be tree leaves. And because they're a little, I don't know how to say it, they're a little messier. I mean, they're not perfectly round, sculpted bushes. They kind of have a little bit of, you know, fluff to them. So you could, you know, adjust them a little bit and they kind of look like they could be, they're the most tree limb looking bushes that we have, basically, I guess is what I'm getting at. So I kind of put that there to kind of give it the little more of the tree effect. And then I'm just kind of messing with the stairs because, like I said, it's such a small area, but you need stairs to go up, and I didn't want the stairs on the outside. I really do wish we had spiral staircases, and I may fix this build if we ever are given spiral staircases, because they would just work so much better in here. So I mean, so you can kind of see it's coming along. We don't have a bottom floor, obviously, yet, but I'm just trying to work on, like, the colors, so it kind of blends in with the tree, and that's kind of what I wanted. I don't want it to take away from the tree. Really, I don't want it to look totally like a house, but I don't want it to also be completely dwarfed by the trees where there's actually no livable space in it, and then I have to make it this huge monstrosity where, you know, there's trees inside the walls, and when we're playing, you can't see, you know? Because I could have done that easily. I could have easily made like a nice tall house, put the trees all around it, and made it look really great on the outside, but then functionality of, unless you're super zoomed in, you know, like if you're just zoomed out a little bit, you're going to see that tree and it's going to block your view, you know, because I kind of found that happening when I made the original Ponyville, that, you know, that area with the treehouse was really difficult to see because the trees were always in the way. So it's kind of like, oh, I can't get on that angle because now there's a tree blocking me. So I didn't want it to inhibit being able to actually play the game and see what you were doing. So yeah, it's nice. I think there's other ways that it could have been done, you know, to make it actually look more legit like a treehouse. But like I said, I don't want it to be, you know, totally like unplayable. That's the whole point of this LP. Is not just, hey, I'm gonna build some funky houses. Is I'm building houses that I want to legit be functional and usable. So yeah. So it was a lot of work on this one just because you've got to put like all these little areas, because I can't, again, like I said, I can't just drag a room. Like, I want to drag this room over here. Or like in cases like this, because I want the trim to go around, you know, I have to like place a room up there, so because otherwise the trim won't go around the top. I don't know why the trim doesn't go around the top of a room as opposed to it goes around the bottom. Why does the trim go around the bottom of a floor and not the top? It should go around the top of a wall. So if I have a giant wall on the first floor and a tiny one on the, why is it only going around the bottom? Like, I don't understand how the trim only goes around the bottom of the floor. Okay. The logic behind that doesn't make sense to me. You know, because you might have, say, in your house might be a huge bottom floor, but maybe the upper floors are patios or anything. I mean, I guess in that sense, yes, you're technically, there's a room, quote unquote, a room up there, but what if you don't put, like, when you're building in The Sims, you don't have to make that a room to be able to put flooring and have it act like a room. So, to me, it makes more sense that the trim should be, you know, put on the bottom. Or, like, see, like this. Oh my god, I just wanted to drag it into the tree, and then the tree's like, let me move! Ugh. But yeah, so, and as you can tell, it's like funky, complete, weird shaped, and it's like, ugh. So, it works though, because like I said, I'm going to turn this whole bottom floor. There is an area that's kind of like cut off, just because there's like bushes and stuff that kind of go through, and so it's like weird, but it is more like a, I put like, you know, because most of Twilight's house is like a huge library. So I just put a lot of bookshelves around, you know, a little area for her to like read and whatever. There's actually even like a huge, I did a way better library in the basement area. So see like that, I tried to drag just to make that, and it moves the whole entire tree, and it's like, oh my god, I just want, oh, it's so irritating. But you know, hey, you gotta work around that, so. Yeah, so I widened this because I actually wanted it to be even and to be able to put a door, and I think I actually end up reverting it back to the way it was. Because the door that I actually end up using is 3 tiles, as opposed to one of the 2-tile ones, and I'm like, oh my god, why didn't I test all the doors before I did this? Because I was going to go with one of these, because I noticed in the pictures that I was looking at, you know, Twilight's front door is like red. It's a red, rounded kind of door, and then I found this one, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so dumb. I should have checked all the doors first, because now all the work that I just did, and I really like that other one, so I'm like, alright, great, now we're gonna... So I just kind of undid everything, but it was like, I just... Making those quote-unquote rooms is so... Like, it's so time-consuming that I was like, damn it, oh well. And then I was kind of thinking... yeah, because, like, again, I wanted to, like, make it a little bit bigger back here, so I wanted to have some livable space down here. I was thinking, like, maybe a bathroom or something. But it's so awkward because of the tree and everything, and like, you know, it's an awkward kind of shape, so that kind of area behind the stairs there just kind of is nothing. You know, but whatever. This is really just kind of to get up to the patios and just kind of give it a house shape. I mean, it wasn't really, it's not as functional and good as it could have been, but I don't know. I like kind of using the basement area just because we can have space to actually build, and we have space to live, and I don't have to worry about like, oh, okay, you know, we don't have a lot of, you know, we have to work around a weird space, because I feel like the last few builds I've had to work around the weirdest spaces in existence, like in Cloud House, you know, totally awkward, weird shapes to build around. And I kind of forgot when I was building this one that I moved Spike in with Twilight, so I'm like, great. You'll see when we get to the decoration, I think it's the 3rd part, that I totally finished the build. I'm like, woohoo, everything's done, and then I'm like, and then I go to move her in, and I'm like, alright, Spike lives with her, so I go back in and like build a room for him, but I'm like, oh my lord, we would never have had enough room on the upper floor, making it look not just like a normal house, you know, trying to give it a fun tree-ish kind of look, if I had to worry about, you know, having Spike live there too, because it's not like, you know, if we had pets, Spike could just be a dog or something, as opposed to an actual, like, sim, but he needs a legit room. He's got to have a place to sleep, and you can't just throw a basket on the floor for him. Like, oh, here's a tiny little area, like, he needs a bed, and he would need his own little room, so you can't do, like, a loft kind of area. So I kind of forgot that, as you can see in some of the builds. Like, I've forgotten rarities that I moved Sweetie Belle in, so we'll see when we get back into the LP and the gameplay, what I had done for her, and then, you know, realizing that, okay, with 2 Sims trying to live in a retail lot, that's going to be difficult, so I ended up making a whole separate lot for them. I did plan. I was like, okay, I'm totally going to get in there, and I know what I want to do, and then I was like, oh, I forgot that there's other Sims, and right, living in a retail lot. You know, it works for Pinky, because she's 1 Sim, you know, And if I accidentally send her home, it's fine. But it's like when you're having to try to control at least 2 Sims and get them to go home, you're like, oh wait, no, let me bring them here. And it's like, it's just, I knew it was going to take a while to train myself to send her to the retail lot as opposed to home or whatever. And I didn't want to like get confused and keep messing up while I was recording, you know, because I kept sending her to the wrong place. So, yeah, here I was actually putting the stairs kind of like thinking I'd put them on the outside to save some room on the inside. But then I was like, I don't know, you know, I was trying to place this tree. So it kind of like hid the stairs a little bit because they're not, you know, the wall doesn't quite come out. But I ended up just putting them on the inside because this wasn't really working. Although the hedge doesn't look too bad there, so I mean, it's not horrible. But yeah, so I kind of just opted to put them next to the other ones because, like I said, it's so small upstairs, and I move around this area down here and like rebuild it like a million times because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with it and how I want to build it. It actually looks quite different, I think. It's actually very square. And like where I was originally gonna like, okay, we'll put like that'll be like this room and that'll be that, and it just ends up completely different what I was originally intending down here. But yeah, you know, but yeah, and I was like kind of trying to figure out like how to do this, and I was thinking, oh, I could kind of make maybe that weird area like a little bathroom or something. I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it just walled and it's going to be like nothing because, you know, I just don't want to try to mess with like tiny little angles and like weird half empty rooms and everything anymore. I kind of just want to be able to build normally. So yeah, her house, I kind of made the outside work for me, what I wanted. And then we just did the basement for the living area just because it was just, I don't know, you know, it wasn't exactly probably what I would have intended. I really wanted all of her stuff to be above ground, you know, but I kind of feel like the house, I know there's a wall that's not painted in the back, I know. I do, like I think I noticed it and I was like, oh, I gotta paint that, and I was busy doing other things and then I like forgot for the longest time. It does get painted though, I think. Pretty sure. Because I think I actually changed the color of the house too, but, you know, I wish we could make this a livable space, but it's like, man, those stairs. I mean, we could always just teleport to each floor, but, you know. We need like a 1 square elevator. Just to like put in a corner and just like, okay, cool. Magicked out. Like a fireman's pole or something that you can climb up. I don't know. Because this would be so cute. Just, I kind of like it. It kind of works for me. You know, it's not perfect. It's not exactly, but it kind of keeps enough of the tree look and, you know, kind of the feel that I was going for, but, you know, it's just not a lot of livable space because the stairs take up so much room and, you know, but yeah, I mean, that's why we had to do a basement. But hey, it's a good thing we have basements, right? Because if we didn't have basements, then this would be really a build because it would just taken way longer and it just wouldn't look right, basically, I think. Because, like, I already had that problem. Like, it wasn't, like, it just wasn't coming out right when I was trying to make it all above ground, so. Yeah, I mean, I did what I had to do. Obviously, I'm just doing, like, some plants and stuff. Here. Oh. Sorry. A little tired. But yeah, and I'm just kind of, like, I was trying to keep them, like, make a nice little pattern, and I'm like, forget it. Just stuff them in here and, like, kind of do, you know, some stuff. And we actually do put some, like, other landscaping and stuff around. And they probably could have more of, like, an outdoor area to, like, sit. I think I put a bench up on the top. But, you know, I got enough kind of landscaping kind of going around on the front, so, yeah. So, yeah, I'm just doing her little path and everything. I don't know how much of the landscaping I actually did this time. I don't really remember. But then I was like, I remembered after the fact, like, when I was almost done building, I forget what part I put it in, so there were 2 or 3, obviously, because there were 3 parts. like, oh, the other one I like had the telescope on the top of her house, and I'm like, well, it's not fitting up there, so we do put it in the backyard, so she does have that stuff. And I might actually eventually build like, I might actually add like a door and like a sub basement to the basement, because sorry, I was gonna give her all like the scientific equipment and stuff like that, but some of it she's going to, you know, build at work. So if she's gonna be building some of that stuff at work, I was like, well, you know, I don't want to give it to her. Other things I think we can. I think it'd be fine, but yeah, and then I just kind of put all these little bushes around, you know, kind of fill in those curvy areas. So we just get some decorative stuff. I wanted to put like one of those bird baths like in the middle of that one, and I totally forgot. But, oh well, whatever. It's a tree. I mean, it's a bush. Doesn't really matter. It's just some kind of landscaping and decorative things just to kind of fill in the space in the front here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Is just a little bit of landscaping and stuff, and I think we build a little bit of a wall. Maybe I do that in the next part. Okay, no, yeah, so I build like a little bit of a wall. I do end up finishing that wall off, but I just did a little bit just to kind of divide it up. But yeah, so that is pretty much it for the build version of Twilight's house. We will finish the basement off and then do some of the decorating in the next two parts. So I will wrap this part up here, guys. I will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.